we'll make a start. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us on this Change of Mind webinar today. Just to make you aware, we are recording this just so that other people that might be on our website can view it at a later stage before the close-off date of the 1st of July. So to start with then, just to give you an overview of what's happening this afternoon. So we'll start off just with introductions of who's here today. I'm going to give you some general information on TU Dublin and some information about the Change of Mind option. And then I'm delighted to be able to say that we have currently 3 students online, and we're going to have a student panel discussion. They'll talk a little bit more about their course and about the campus that they're on. And then we'll be very happy to take some questions that you may have. We'll open the questioning and chat box probably towards 1:30. So to start off with then, my name is Fiona. I'm the school liaison and fee manager here in TU Dublin. And joining me today is my colleagues in school liaison. There's Laura, who will be doing the student panel discussion. We also have Dylan. And then from student recruitment, we have David. And from the admissions office, then we have Lauren and Martina. And then our 3 students, we have Zach, we have Alison, and we also have Alex. So to look at TU Dublin then, so first of all, and this isn't a quote of mine, might I add, we're aware that there's a lot of leaving certs on today, and we know you've had a tough year, and I hope the exams went well for you, and I know you've probably done a lot of study and met deadlines throughout the year, but we find sometimes students, they put an awful lot of work into their leaving cert year, but then maybe don't just take that extra time to review their CAO form. So we would be urging students that are on today to, have a look at your CAO form before you hit that submit button. So looking at TU Dublin then, so we're Ireland's first and largest technological university in Ireland. And at TU Dublin, we offer you 2 pathways to study with us. If you wish, you can sign up on the ladder system of progression, coming through, starting off on a higher certificate, working your way to the ordinary degree, and then on to the honours degree. Or for other students, they'll jump straight in and sign up for a 4-year honours degree, level 8. We would take in an awful lot of leaving cert students, obviously, every year, but we also are the largest intaker of students that do the QQI qualification. That's the post-leaving cert courses. If you take, for instance, just last year, we would have made over 20% of offers to QQI applicants. Last year, we would have taken in 6,031 first-year students across our 5 campuses, and of that, 64% came through the leaving cert, and then of the 20% QQI offers we made, 12% would have accepted those offers. And then in addition to that, we have other students that come through the non-standard routes, such as mature students or here and there applicants. So there's a nice cross across all the different courses in TU Dublin, a nice mixture of different students. And like I said, we're Ireland's first technological university, but there's lots of technological universities throughout the world. You've places like Canada, you have places in Australia, throughout Europe, and then the 4 other ones in Ireland. So just giving you some background information then on TU Dublin, we have over 3,500 staff members with us presently, and the ratio of lecturer to student would be approximately 20. We have over 20,000 students, and within that there is 138 nationalities. And do bear in mind, TU Dublin have 5 campus locations. To explain where those campus locations are, so we have a campus in Blanchardstown in Dublin 15. There would be about 3,500 students currently studying there. And the sort of courses you can study in Blanchardstown include engineering, computing, humanities, business. They have a specific sports course, and they also do a creative digital media course. We have another campus then out in Tallaght in Dublin 24. On the Tallaght campus, there's about 5,500 students. And on that campus, again, you can study courses in engineering, computing, humanities, business. They have some specific science and health courses. They have a small amount of catering, hospitality and tourism. They too have a specific sports course, and they also have a specific creative arts course. We take our city centre locations then. So we have a campus in Ainger Street in Dublin 2, quite close to Grafton Street. And on the Ainger Street campus, they'll offer a wide range of different courses in the business area. Another campus would be Bolton Street in Dublin 1, very close to O'Connell Street. Bolton Street deals specifically with engineering courses. They offer 2 architecture programs, and then they have built environment courses as well. And finally, we've our newest and biggest campus, which is Grangegorman in Dublin 7, right in the heart of city centre, very easy to get to by Lewis or by public transport, such as buses, or if you want to cycle. The Grangegorman campus have over 14,000 students with them at the moment. And on that campus, there's different disciplines of courses that you can study, including computing, there's catering, hospitality and tourism, there's creative arts courses, there's music and drama, a wide range of different health and science courses, and then a small amount of our engineering courses overlap between Bolton Street and Grangegorman. What I would be saying to you, though, if you're considering TU Dublin, be very aware of where your course is occurring. The majority of our courses happen on one single campus, and that's where you are located for the duration of your studies. Moving on then, if we look at the different disciplines at TU Dublin, so this year we have 146 courses on offer that you can apply for. Within those 146 courses, they sit behind one of our 12 disciplines. So the disciplines on offer at TU Dublin, we have architecture and built environment. All of those courses happen on our Bolton Street campus. We offer a wide range of different business courses. The business courses mainly happen in Angel Street, but Blanchardstown and Tala do have specific business courses as well. We have computing, data and maths. A lot of them happen in Grangegorman, but again, Blanchardstown and Tala offer those courses. We do creative arts, design and media, mostly on the Grangegorman campus, but one specific to Blanchardstown and one specific to the Tala campus. We've catering, hospitality and tourism courses happening in Grangegorman and also a few on the Tala campus. Our engineering discipline, which is our largest discipline, engineering mostly happens in Bolton Street, but again, specific ones on the Tala and Blanchardstown campuses. We have some specific law courses, a few specific language courses, music and drama. We do sciences and health. Just to say, we don't have medicine, nursing or veterinary, but very specific science and health courses. We do social science and education courses. They're your humanity courses, again happening in Grangegorman, Blanchardstown and Tala. So I suppose if you're considering them, maybe the one that's closest to your home might be the best option. And finally, we do sports and leisure courses. And I always say about sports and leisure courses, you should really study them in detail because we have very specific ones happening on different campuses. So we've lots of support for all our students when they start their studies with us. We've a career guidance service, very much supporting students, and particularly when they're finishing up studying with us, you know, when they're looking for their jobs, interview preparation, CV preparation, job interview skills, and they do host careers fairs as well, where they would invite large companies in, and sometimes companies where students did work placement with them. If they have a vacancy, they make our career service available of that. We have health centres across all our different campuses, free to all our full-time students, nurses working there. They decide if you need to see a doctor. We do offer financial aid to our students. Twice a year, our finance office would put a call out to students if they wish to apply for financial assistance. Each case would be individually assessed. We don't have any accommodation on any of our campuses. An awful lot of our students commute on a daily basis. Very much, you know, a lot of Dublin students, obviously, but then students in the general Leinster area as well, like Cavan, Meath, Monaghan, Louth, Laois, Wicklow, Offaly. It's quite expensive to get accommodation in the Dublin area and it's in short supply, but we do have an accommodation service. If anyone is looking for information on accommodation, they will provide assistance on that. We have a maths learning centre and also an academic writing centre for students, you know, that need maybe additional support, particularly when they start their studies or if they're struggling a bit with any maths element that might be part of their course. Any students that have a disability can approach our disability services for additional supports. We also have a counselling service that's widely used by our students, a free service. Sometimes students, you know, when they start college, they find maybe the transition from second level to third level a little bit daunting starting off, or maybe there's something happening in their personal life that's affecting their studies. They can approach our counselling service. It is totally a confidential service. So your ultimate goal when you join TU Dublin is to get your academic qualification, but there is a fun side to college as well. And there's lots of different sports and leisure clubs that you can sign up to. And you know, if you're a sporty person, we have over 40 sports clubs. That's just an example on that slide, what's on offer. We have boxing, sailing, GAA, swimming, skiing, rugby. I don't think there's any sporting activity that's not catered for at this stage. And I always say to students, it's a good time, you know, to take some downtime maybe from your studies to actively pursue a sporting activity, and you get to know and make friends outside of the course that you're studying as well. And if you're not a sporty person, that's absolutely fine. There's lots of different societies that you can sign up to, such as the Dance Society, chess, DJing, astronomy, circling, Harry Potter. There's loads of different societies that you can sign up to. And every year, our clubs and SOCs and our sporting societies, you know, they host information sessions at the start of the year for first years, and that's where you can join. And you don't have to be, you know, an excellent sports person. They take it at beginner's level as well. So moving on to looking at your CAO application. So what I would be saying here this afternoon is definitely, you know, investigate thoroughly any course that you're interested in studying. The best way to do that would be to go on our website, tudublin.ie /CAO. We've lots of information up on all of our courses, and that would include exactly what are you going to be studying each year. We give you a little bit more information about the course. Very important to look at, well, what sort of career will you get after you graduate? We put up sample timetables. Timetables are very different at third level compared to what you would have been used to during your school years. You know, some students are very lucky. They might have a day off a week. They might have a half day. They might have a later start. They might have an earlier finish. And that's very, very useful, particularly if you're commuting a long distance every day. If you're that student that's looking at some of our disciplines and a little bit unsure, well, which one will I select? We do have common entry paths across our business discipline, our engineering discipline, our science discipline, and our computing disciplines. And that's a very useful option to go for in first year. You know, if you were thinking about engineering, you can do common entry first year, and then there's different branches you can go into after that. And you'll know at that stage, you know, what exactly you like in the specific area of engineering. We would also always say to students, you know, do have a look at the QQI pathway. I did say at the beginning of this presentation, we would take in a very large volume of students through that route every year. The good thing about doing a QQI qualification is it gives you an appreciation of the course that you might be interested in pursuing long-term at third level. It prepares you for doing assignments, there's work placement options, and there's still a lot of QQI colleges that are still open for applications. When you're considering what to study at third level, it's probably important to consider how exactly do I learn? And if applied learning is the best option for you, do look at the courses at TU Dublin, because an awful lot of our subjects offer practical. So that means you're based maybe in the lab, if you're doing maybe engineering or science, and if you're doing maybe music or drama, you'd be in our concert hall or maybe our black box theatre. You might be in the studio if you were doing interior design or photography. So an awful lot of practical work goes on across all our different courses, but you do cover theory subjects as well. And also a really nice feature of our courses when you're studying with us is we offer you work placement. That normally happens in third year of your programme. The college does source that placement for you, but it's very much your opportunity to put into practice what you have been learning. Employers really like that aspect of our course because we have very much work-ready graduates. When you qualified, you know, if you've done a work placement, you are very much work-ready. An awful lot of our classes are small enough in size in that our academic staff do get to know their students, they get to know their name, you're not just a number. And in addition to that, you know, there's that support there for you as well. And sometimes small class sizes are more appealing. You know, you do get to know the lecturing staff and you do get to make friends as well. So it's very important when you're looking at TU Dublin courses, do have a look at the minimum entry requirements for whatever course you are applying for. For the majority of our courses, if you're applying for a level 8, it's normally that you have to have 6 subjects in your Leaving Cert with 2 H5s. The majority of our courses, that would include having a maths requirement and then an English or Irish requirement, and then it can be any other 4 subjects. And that's across all our courses such as business, engineering, computing, catering, hospitality, all at level 8. Do bear in mind, for some of our science and health courses, it is a requirement to have a H4 in at least one of your science subjects. I know for a few of our science courses, it's actually 2 H4s in a specific science subject that you have to have. And then for our language courses, it's a requirement to have a second language studied as well and have passed it in the Leaving Cert. So I'd be urging you, if you're looking at a course at TU Dublin, do consider and look in more detail at the minimum entry requirements. I want to talk to you now a little bit about the ladder progression system. This is unique to TU Dublin, along with the other technological universities in Ireland, and then with Dundalk IT and the National College of Ireland. For traditional universities such as DCU or UCD or Trinity or Maynooth, you have to sign up for 4 years, and that's normally, you know, to get your level 8. There's no award if you decide to leave before the 4 years. You have to have passed each year and completed the 4 years. So with TU Dublin, you have the option to sign up for a level 8 if that's what you want starting off. But do remember, you do also have the ladder progression system. And that's literally what you're doing. You're climbing that ladder to progress. So for some courses, you can sign up for a level 6, a higher certificate. You come in and do the 2 years. And once you've passed the 2 years, we will give you that award. You've got your level 6 higher certificate. You have a decision then to make. Would you like to leave and go and look for a job, or would you like to progress to 3rd year? Now, for some courses, there isn't a higher certificate. You'd start at level 7, the ordinary bachelor degree, and complete the 3 years. But again, at the end of the 3rd year or at the end of the 3 years, we will give you that ordinary bachelor degree level 7 once you've passed all your exams. Again, a decision to be made by you. Are you happy to go and look for a job, or do you want to stay on 4th year? 4th year will give you your honours bachelor degree. So I always say to students, absolutely look at the ladder progression system at TU Dublin, because there is a lot of courses within the level 6s and 7, and you can progress to the level 8. And here's just an example of a progression route. It gives you an idea what way you can do it. So with the higher certificate general entry business, this course happens on Angel Street. There's options there, and one of them is if you wanted to pick to do business management. So that's a level 6. So you're going to do 2 years. It was 251 points for the Leaving Cert just gone by. The entry requirements were you had to have a pass in 5 subjects in your Leaving Cert. There was a maths requirement of 06 H7, and then an English or Irish requirement of 06 or H7, and any other 3 subjects. You don't necessarily have to have done business or accounting before. But we also have that course at level 8. If that's what you want to do, you apply for the level 8, business and management. You can see there, though, it's 6 subjects with 3 H5s. Again, a maths and an English or Irish requirement. And you'll see there the points for Leaving Cert last year were 451 points. So that's a quite substantial difference, 251 points versus 451 points, 5 subjects versus 6 subjects with 2 H5s. So I'd be saying, you know, why would you not put the 2 of them on your CAO form? Absolutely put the general entry business in at level 6, but also put in the level 8. Because, you know, if you take last year, you know, maybe some students did that. One student maybe got 350 points in their Leaving Cert. They're not going to get offered the level 8, but they will get offered that level 6. And after the 2 years, they can go straight into 3rd year of that level 8 once they've got over 55% in their exams. Maybe someone else applied for both and got 500 points in their Leaving Cert. They'll actually get offered both options by the CAO. Obviously, they can only accept one. They'll probably go for the level 8. But that's why I'm stressing, why would you not put the 2 down in your CAO form? You have absolutely nothing to lose. It doesn't cost you anything extra to put those options in. And then just to mention about points, you know, there's always, and particularly, you know, when Leaving Cert results come out, the media jump on board saying about points for different courses. Points vary every single year. Points can go up, points can go down, or points can stay the same. And we don't know until after the Leaving Cert results come out where points are going to fall for a particular course. Points are always very, very high if, you know, if a course is particularly popular in a given year. If you look at that sample on the slide there, the optometry, you know, that's your eyesight testing, prescribing glasses, a course that's unique to TU Dublin. You'll see there the points range for Leaving Cert last year, what it came in at. You know, some students think, oh, you know, I mightn't get those points, I won't put it in. Absolutely put it in if that's what you want. As I said, we don't know where the points are going to fall. So when you're looking at your CAO over the next few days, I'd be saying to you, you know, the best way to consider your options, and you do have 2 lists on your CAO, you have your level 8 side from 1 to 10 and your level 6 and 7 side. And absolutely be putting in your dream courses at 1, 2, 3 on those lists. Do have a realistic expectation then that just supposing you don't get the points for your dream courses, maybe you have courses that you'd consider if you didn't get those, and then you have a banker or backup plan that if you didn't get your dream or your realistic course, maybe you'll be offered something further down with the CAO. As I said, do consider your level 8 list and your level 6 and 7. But there's a golden rule always to remember with the CAO, and that is if you get your number 1 course, your dream course with the CAO when they make the offers at the end of August, the CAO will assume that you're very, very happy. You're after getting your number 1 course. And, you know, it happens every year. We get calls and emails from students. They've got what they had in at number 1, but it's actually not really what they wanted. They prefer maybe what they had in at number 3 or 4. They'll ring in and say, I've got the points, I have meet the entry requirements. Can I change my mind on that? And maybe I can get the course that I have in at number 3 or 4. The answer is no. You can never move down your CAO list. So do bear that in mind. Be very happy how you're putting in your preferences on your CAO form. So do make the most of your CAO application. I've been stressing here today that, you know, you have your level 6 and 7 list, and then you also have your level 8. And it can happen when the CAO make their offers. They might make you a level 8 offer, and then they might also make you a level 6 or 7. And that's when you have to make your decision which one you're going to select. And like I said, you can never move down your CAO list. So be very happy at how your preference and those preferences. Do remember there is a few courses on the TU Dublin website that have restricted marked on them. You had to apply by the 1st of February for those courses. Those courses, it's only a few it applies to, but if you see the words restricted, like for the architecture program, interior design, you had to, you know, either do an interview or submit a portfolio. So that's why it's too late now to apply for those courses. And it sounds very obvious, apart from looking at your CAO preference list, do look at the personal information you have provided to the CAO before you hit submit over the weekend or before the 1st of July. One error that students seem to make, and it can be a very anxious time if you do it, and that is to forget to put in your Leaving Cert number. So take a look at your CAO form over the coming days and make sure you have your Leaving Cert number in. That's what students sometimes forget to put in, and it can be an anxious wait because you have to wait for round 2, and if there's still places available, then only then would you get an offer. So I'm just going to point out just a few offer and acceptance dates that will be coming up. So we would offer our mature students, they are coming through round A with the CAO, and their offers will be going out on the 4th of July at 10 a.m. So they're not competing with Leaving Cert students or QQI students, they're competing against each other to get places at TU Dublin. Following that then, on the 7th of August at 10 a.m, we will be offering places to QQI applicants, the students that did those 1 year or 2 year courses, and their closing date will be the 12th of August. And finally, it gets to the Leaving Cert students, and the Leaving Cert results are going to be out on the 22nd of August, and that's followed 5 days later on the 27th of August at 2 p.m. The round 1 offers will be going out to the Leaving Cert students, and you have until 3 p.m. on the 2nd of September to accept that offer. We more than likely will go to round 2 offers on the number of our courses, and if that happens, we would be offering them on the 8th of September with a closing date of the 10th of September. We may have to go to further rounds, and we'll do that over the following weeks in September. You know, students might be getting a recheck done on the paper and might be entitled to an offer if they get upgraded. So offers continue to go on throughout September. And then I just want to make you aware of available places then as well. That's something that happens every year at TU Dublin. If courses aren't in full after round 1 offers go out, we open what's called available places. So that will open at 12 noon on the 28th of August. We make it known on our website what courses have available places, as well as the CAO doing that. Do remember, you have to meet the minimum entry requirements if you're going to put available places options on your CAO form. So maybe if you're a student that, you know, didn't get an offer on a course, or maybe you got an offer but it's not something you really want, I'd be suggesting do look at available places on our website or on the CAO website on the 28th of August. It's too early to say where exactly available places will occur, but normally we have available places on a number of disciplines each year. And then do look on our website in more detail at our courses, and we've a dedicated website for tudublin.ie/CAO Change of Mind. We've all our courses built in there, and we also have done webinars during the year about specific courses if you want to find out more information about them. If there's any parent or guardian on here this afternoon, we've a dedicated area, just some general information for parents or guardians. And then I'd be saying also look at the SUSI website, and their closing date will be the 10th of July if you're going to make a SUSI application. And finally then, just to give you information on starting dates at TU Dublin, so we would host an orientation programme starting on Tuesday the 9th of September and running until Friday the 12th of September. That's for all our first year students. There'll be a certain day of that particular week that you'd have to come in. You'll meet your lecturing staff, you'll meet all the other students that will be in your class, and they'll give you campus tours of wherever you're studying. It's usually 1 day's duration, and we will put that schedule up on our website over the coming weeks. Do remember then, formal classes will commence the following Monday, the 15th of September. You will have got your timetable, so you'll know exactly, you know, where you're starting. It'll also give details of what rooms your different subjects are happening in. And I've been saying that the change of mind, just to reinforce that will close at 5 p.m. next Tuesday. So over the coming days, do have a final look and a final check on your information, and then be happy with your course preference listing as well. I would say to you, if you have any questions, we're going to be opening the chat box in the next few minutes, and that's where you can pop in any question you might have. But if something comes to mind over the coming days, or even during the summer months, or when you get your CAO offer, absolutely contact us. If it's information about a course, just email courses@tudublin.ie. If you have a specific admissions query, do email admissions@tudublin.ie. It's very, very useful if you put your CAO number in there as well, and our admissions team will be happy to answer any questions you have. So I'm now going to invite our 3 students to turn on their mics and join us now, and I'll hand over to Laura, who's going to give you some general information about ask some specific questions of our students.
Great, thanks Fiona. So my name is Laura and I work as part of the school liaison team. So today we're delighted to be joined by 3 of our students. We've Zach, Alison and Alex joining us, all students of TU Dublin, and they're here today to answer a few questions that might help you guys when finalising your CAO application, and then also what you can expect if you do decide to study at TU Dublin. So to start off, guys, you're very welcome. Thanks for joining us. And maybe we could just have you guys say your name and what course you're studying and maybe what year you've just completed as well. So we'll start with Alex.
Hi, my name is Alex. I'm doing digital forensics and cybersecurity in the Blanchardstown campus, and I am currently in third year.
Very good. Okay, Alison.
Hi, I'm Alison. I study on Tala campus and I just finished year 2 of sports science and health. So I'll be going into year 3 this coming September.
Very good. And Zach.
Hi, I'm Zach. I'm currently studying business and management, and I've just completed my second year in the Angel Street campus.
Very good. So we have a good mix of students from Tala, Blanchardstown and Ainger Street, which is great. So just to talk us through, obviously the students that are on board today are finally completing their CAO. They've done all the hard work. They've completed the Leaving Cert. Could you talk us through, Alex, how you best filled out your CAO, or was TU Dublin your first choice? Are you happy now with the choice you made?
Yeah, TUD was actually my second choice for the level 8 options. Originally, I want to go to Limerick, but
Okay.
I also had TUD, the same course, down for the level 7 choices as well. So I ended up getting into cybersecurity in TUD, and turns out it's actually the course that I love most.
Very good. So you're happy with your course at the moment, yeah?
Yep.
Brilliant. Zach, how about you when you were filling out your CAO? How did you go about getting into TU Dublin?
Yeah, so my course was sort of my number one in the sort of realistic and achievable courses for myself. I sort of knew after my mock results what sort of points I felt were achievable for me, and so I thought business and management was sort of best suited.
Great. And are
Well,
you enjoying the course now?
yeah, I'm loving it really. I've truly enjoyed my 2 years here so far.
Brilliant. And Alison, how about you? How did the CAO work out for you?
My CAO honestly was very messy because
Okay.
when I was doing my Leaving Cert, I didn't have any idea what I wanted to do at all. Just I had an idea I wanted to do something in sport. And then I heard about the course I'm doing on one of the open days and I went, oh yeah, that sounds like I could give it a try. And I fell in love with it within the first 2 months, I'd say. So definitely delighted I did it, but it was my first choice and I'm so chuffed I got it because I love it.
Okay, very good. And what would be your career aspirations when you complete your studies at TU Dublin? What's the plan, or have you been out on work placement? Did that kind of feed into what you might do when you finish college? Alex?
Yeah, I'm actually at work right now. I'm pen testing at the moment.
Very good. And did you complete a work placement where you're working
No,
now?
no, actually, I'm doing the old course for cybersecurity, so we didn't have any placements then.
Okay,
So I applied for a summer internship, and I
brilliant.
ended up getting it. And here I am working as a pen tester here.
Very good. And you're enjoying it?
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll do that for the summer months and then you'll be back in class in September. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. So it's great that you're getting experience when obviously you're on your summer break, which
Yeah.
is nice. Zach, what about you? Have you been out on work placement, or is there any work placement plans?
Yeah, so I was sort of similar to Alison in the way I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Finishing school, so I chose business management as sort of a general degree. So my work placement will be in March of next year. So I'm hoping to get a better idea of what I want to do afterwards with that, and sort of working with the team in the career guidance. I've already started on reviewing my CV and just sort of start sending it out now in September and see where we can
Brilliant. So
go.
the college will help you find your work placement. Is that correct?
Yeah, so yeah, I
Super.
can. There's a few different ways, so you can work it through the college or you can get your own. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. What about you, Alison? Does your course allow for work placement, or do you have practical classes in as part of your coursework?
Majority of my course would be practical work, which I think is
Okay.
one of my favorite parts about it. So we do a lot of hands-on stuff in classes with each other.
Yeah.
But at the end of once I complete third year, so next year, we get the option to work on a summer internship with Seal Blue, which is one of the companies. It's either Exwell Medical or Seal Blue. I'd like to go into afterwards. I didn't know those
Brilliant.
companies existed until I started in college. And I found out about them and went, oh, they sound really cool. And one of them actually runs in Tala campus, so we get to observe a lot as well, which is really nice.
Okay, very good. So a
Okay.
lot of practical experience across all the courses that you guys are studying, which is great. Then maybe can you talk to us maybe about your timetable? So obviously Leaving Cert students at the moment, they're in school, we'll say Monday to Friday, 9 till 3:30, most schools. And what would your timetable look like on a weekly basis? We'll start
Um,
with Alex again. I know Alex, you're well, we're probably doing okay for time, but you do have to be back to work at 2 o'clock. So
yeah.
we'll let you answer as many questions first.
Um,
What's your timetable looking like
uh,
for the cybersecurity
well,
course?
in first year was in like 5 days a week, but those times were kind of different as well because like every day didn't really start at the same time. Sure enough, I had few 9 to 6s, but in the end, like some of the days I was only in for one day, or sorry, one class.
Okay.
The same with second year as well. In third year, I was just in for only three days.
Okay. So it's, and then you obviously have your independent learning that you do on those other days, but the class contact
Yeah.
time would be 3 days. What about Zach? What's your timetable looking like? Are you in 5 days a week or?
Yeah, so in first year I was in 5 days a week, sort of spread out, never really sort of your 9 to 4 like you would in secondary school. But this year I've actually been lucky enough, sort of time wise, we've put it to 3 days a week, sort of longer days, but it's 3 days a week this time, so it
Okay.
suits me a lot.
Yeah, nice. And what about you, Alison? You obviously are in a lot with your contact hours, are you?
Yeah, we'd be in quite a lot, and the days we were in kind of changed each semester. So semester one we had 4 days on site, semester two was 5, semester three was 4, and then last
Okay.
semester was 5 days as well. But they all would start at different times and finish at different times. So some days you'd be in at 9, but you'd maybe finish at 2,
Yeah.
which isn't too bad. The latest that we would finish is usually 7 o'clock, but that would be if we have a lab because they run for 3 hours and it's based on when the labs are free for us to use.
Available, yeah. Okay.
But generally, like it's a 3 hour lab slot, but you wouldn't necessarily be in there for the full 3 hours. You'd maybe be in there for 2 or 2.5. So
Okay.
if your finish time is 7 o'clock, usually you're out of there before that.
Okay.
But on those
Everyone wants
days
to get
that,
home a little bit earlier, yeah.
yeah, but on those days that you'd be finishing late, you'd start later at about 11.
Okay.
So it's fine. And a lot of it kind of fluctuates between like classes where you're sitting in front of a professor talking to you and then ones where you're actually doing hands-on work. So it's a
Okay,
good
so
mix throughout the day as well.
you like having that mix.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. And then just in regards to exams, so obviously the students have just completed the Leaving Cert, and when you transition into into third level, it's the exam process can be a little bit different. And we find at TU Dublin a lot of our courses are very practical based, and with that comes practical examinations. And so what would be like for your modules that you do, are they 100% CAs or are they 50-50 formal exams and CAs, or how does that work for you guys? We might start with Zach for this one.
Yeah, so a little bit different again to the Leaving Cert, where it's sort of 100% on the exam on the day. I know for this year, most of my exams that I done in sort of May were sort of 60%, maybe 50%. You'd have sort of a 30% exam maybe at Christmas, and then in some you'd have 5% in November, 5% in March. So it's nicely
Okay.
broken up, and that sort of suits me a lot better. And you sort of feel like your work throughout the year is
Yeah,
going
that you're
to
chipping away at the overall
yeah,
grade throughout the
absolutely.
year,
Yeah.
which is nice. It takes the pressure off students. What about yourself, Alex? Are you 100%
Ye-
CAs or written exams, or how does it work?
Yeah, most of my modules were 100% CAs. I've only really
Nice.
sat down on yeah, I've only really sat down on 4 exams, but then we also had a lot of practical exams as well.
Great. Okay. And Alison, what about yourself?
Mine's a nice mix of kind of everything because I don't know if my course is similar to some of the others, but we have one block of classes from September till Christmas and then a second block from January to May. So we have
May.
two kind of separate sets of exams entirely. But most of the classes we have would be about 40 to 50% CA assessments or practical ones. And any classes that we have labs in, we would have lab exams or like a in-person practical with your professor where you stand in front of them and verbally answer questions, or you demonstrate different things.
Okay.
Which I find is quite good if you're more kind of like a hands-on practical learner. So not everything's based on your end of year exam, which is quite nice. And then there's
Yeah.
also a lot of like group presentations. And one thing that I had to do in first year was a dance exam. So that's a good one to warn people of if they're joining the sports science. We do have a dance exam, so look forward
Very
to that.
good.
But you're in a group, it's great fun. So like it's
Outside
a
your
lot of
comfort zone.
practical. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but I suppose all of that kind of work would obviously then prepare you for going out into the workforce. And then Alex, from yourself being out on an internship this summer, you're probably taking what you've learned in the classroom, are you, into the
Yeah,
workforce?
yeah, most definitely. Yeah. So everything I've learned in the classroom, just putting in here in the workplace as well.
Brilliant. Yeah, so that's why TU Dublin really we put a lot of emphasis on the practical side of work and working as part of groups, because we're trying to get you ready to go out into the workforce, so that when you go out to the workforce, you're well able to work as part of a team and obviously hit the ground running within the industry. So obviously we've spoken about the academic side of things. College, obviously you want to get your academic qualification, but it's also important to enjoy your time while you're in TU Dublin. So are you guys involved in any clubs or societies, or do you go on any nights out that are organised by the student union? Maybe we'll ask Alison first to answer that one.
Yeah, so I'm the chairperson of the College Taekwondo Club, so I'd be quite involved on that side of things,
Very good.
which is great fun. So we have, our training sessions twice a week, but the most enjoyable parts of it, I think, are competition. We
Yeah.
usually try to get to, there's usually one intervarsity a year, so we try to get to other just national events. So we'd go to anywhere between 6 to 8 competitions
Cool.
a year normally.
And you're then competing against other colleges, is it?
Yeah, the intervarsity would be with other colleges, and then nationally you'd be just against clubs and other people. And there's a lot of national tournaments here that we get international competitors from. So even if you're only starting out in the sport, you get the option to go against international opponents, which is quite cool.
Very cool,
But it's
yeah.
really the social side of it that I enjoy a lot. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I know
What about-
just from speaking to classmates, they all enjoy the sport clubs there. And being a sports course, we all do sport.
Yeah.
But it's
But
like
I'm
it's
sure you
great.
meet students that aren't on sports courses, so it's a good way to
Mm.
mix with other students within the university, I suppose.
Oh, definitely, because it's
Yeah.
across all campuses. So, I've got friends in Blanchardstown, Angel Street, Grange Gorman, and I'm based in Tala. So other than
Cool.
the sports, I wouldn't have met them.
Yeah, because often students, because obviously we have the 5 campus locations, we often get asked that kind of question: can you move within the campuses? And it is true that you can use the services and the facilities on the different campuses if you wish. Obviously, if you prefer to stay on your own campus, that's fine too. Alex, are you involved in any clubs or societies?
Yeah, I'm the treasurer for badminton.
Very
Yeah,
good.
so it's kind of the same as taekwondo, really. We do have the tournaments going on. We also have our badminton clubs in Blanchardstown City Campus and the Tala campus as well.
Cool.
Yeah, so yeah, it's just 3 of those separate campuses, even though like we're all one club.
Very good. And Zach, are you involved in any clubs or societies, or have you gone on any trips or anything like that as part of college?
Yeah, so I joined the football or soccer club this year. So unfortunately, I've been sidelined a few times with injuries. So,
No, no.
but you can always see that the whole time with on the group chat, there's 2 training sessions a week, and there's always a sort of a match or a week every second week. So there's a great buzz in the team, and we have 3 city campus teams. So you're sort of, whenever you use the facilities up in Grange Gorman and then you come back to your city campus in your college, you just see every person just sort of walking by, and you sort of get to meet new people that you probably would never meet, and you wouldn't recognize sort of walking by you through the different clubs.
Brilliant, yeah. Guys, don't forget that there is a question box as well for anyone who's on the call that would like to ask any of the admissions team's questions, or the students are happy to answer any questions you might have. But to finish up on our chat here today, we might just finish with maybe if each of you could give your favorite thing about TU Dublin and also your last piece of advice for the students that are filling out their CAO this weekend, and we'll hopefully have it completed by July 1st. So we'll start with Alison. Your favourite thing about TU Dublin?
I think I've got a couple, but I'll keep it as short as I can. I think one of
Okay.
my favorite things is just the different events that happen with the like just the student council and things like that, because there's often days you'll show up to your campus and there's a random bouncy castle or popcorn machine, and like that's great fun. You can just have a bit of fun with that.
Okay.
But I think in relation to my course, I love my professors, and I think I've been very lucky with the ones I've gotten. They're all very, very nice and very humorous in the way they teach. So there's often a lot of laughs in the classes, which is really, really fun, which I think is
Good.
good
That's
for
important.
practical courses, but it's great. And I think the main piece of advice I'd give people is just don't panic. Like I was that person that didn't know what I wanted to do and I wasn't sure if I made the right choice. But if you do end up feeling like you haven't made the right choice, you can always change your mind. Like that's okay to do. But
Hmm.
trust your gut and just go with what you think you want to do. Usually it works out. So
Yeah, great advice, and we're delighted to hear that you enjoy being lectured by the funny professors at TU Dublin. Alex, yourself, what would be your favorite thing and also your piece of advice for the current students that are filling out the CAO?
I'd say my favorite thing about TUD is honestly just the hands-on learning. It's you do have the theory side, but you also have the practical side, which is more heavier than the theory side, which is what I'm better at anyways.
Very good.
And I'd say my piece of advice, I'd say just don't be too hard on yourself on the CAO. Like, sure enough, some of the points may be like really high, but like still put them as your number one. You don't know what you're gonna get for a
Yeah,
result
that's
paper.
it. Very good. Good piece of advice, because like that, as Fiona said earlier, nobody knows what way the points are going to go for this year. So definitely put down your dream course as your first one and then work your way down the list. And then Zach, to finish with yourself, your favourite thing about TU Dublin and your piece of advice for the students.
Yes, I'd say my favorite thing about TU Dublin was probably the small class sizes. I felt even before choosing the course it would sort of suit me the best, and that sort of proved to be true. I've got a great relationship with my classmates, and I found it's a lot easier to ask questions when there's sort of 20 or 30 people in a room, whereas maybe in different colleges there might be 100 or 200 in a lecture hall, and I think I'd never have sort of the confidence or to ask a question that, or maybe try even get lost with so much happening in the big lecture halls.
Yeah, it can be intimidating having big numbers in your class. So you really like the small class sizes, which is
Yeah,
what TU
definitely.
Dublin's all about as well. And then your piece of advice.
Yeah, I would just say speak to as many people as possible about it. I was lucky enough, one of my good friends, older brother, had just graduated from business and management. So I sort of sat down with him for 20, 30 minutes and just sort of asked 100 different questions about it and got a good grasp of what TU Dublin's all about and what the course sort of is all about as well.
Brilliant, yeah. And like that, as Zach said, always ask the questions. Ask the questions now, because that will allow you to do your groundwork and get as much information so that you can make the best decision for yourselves. So that's pretty much it for today. I'd like to thank the students that joined us. We really appreciated your time, because it's always nice for prospective students to hear the student voice. So thanks for giving up your time. We really appreciate it. Thanks to everyone who joined us today as well. And then just remember, if you do have any questions, sometimes you might not want to ask a question here today, but afterwards you might think of something. You can always email courses@tudublin.ie if it's in relation to a course, or if it's in relation to your application on the CAO, you can email admissions@tudublin.ie. One of the team in the office will get back to you as soon as possible. But thank you so much for joining us today, and the very best of luck with your Leaving Cert results and your CAO offers, and hopefully we'll see some of you in TU Dublin in September. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Best of luck, everyone.